Today I'm going to share a story, something that happened to me so many years ago. And that was an experience that transformed me forever. It happened to me in my house, and that was something that transpired between I and my dad. Incidentally, he is late today, and he's very dear to me because we have a lot in common. Yeah, we have a lot in common, but we disagreed a lot. Growing up, we had a lot of disagreements because I was that daughter that I questioned everything. I wanted answers to things. And you know that the African culture does not permit children to ask questions. So my dad was a typical African man, in quotes. Yeah. So there was an experience that happened um, when I graduated from the university. So prior to then, we had this agreement that after my first degree, I will proceed for a further degree in the US because he is a resident. So he had even sent me some documents, some school prospectus, the school prospectus that I had gone through. I had chosen the course I was going to do. We had all that discussion. So after I graduated, I was at home. I was trying to sort my things out in the house, and I had a few things I wanted to discard, which were not things he didn't know about those things or how they came into my life. So I felt I wanted to discard them because I didn't think they were good enough. But he had a different opinion or view about those things, and he felt those things could be used by someone else, which we didn't agree on that anyway. So I went on to discard those things, and that became a very big issue between us. And that was how my dad now started saying things like, yeah, you did this, you disobeyed me, because of that. I promised this, that means I'm not going to do this, and all that. I've already done this for you. I don't think I'm going to continue with that conversation. He was just threatening, and he said a lot of things that I considered hurtful, as a child. A lot of times parents say things out of anger, and they don't realize how those things affect their children. So sorry, so he said so many things that day, and of course at this time I had graduated from the university, and he said all those things. He said the summary of what he said to me in simple English is yeah, I've finished my work. I've already given you the education, and so you can sort yourself out. I've done everything for you already. What I had promised, I'm not going to do it anymore. Whatever you need to do, maybe it's your husband that will now continue with that. Those kind of talks. Yeah, so for me that was very hurtful because I was really hoping, as a child, someone had promised you something, and all of a sudden he now started saying those things because of whatever, something that when I think about it now, something that didn't have, there was no substance to that issue. Yeah, but in today's world, I would look at it as trying to be the man, right? Trying to show me the man's side of things, because I think that's how men are. Yeah, so by that action, my father showed me a side of life that I didn't know, which is that a man, when you're at the mercy of a man, when you're dependent on a man, he can pull the strings at any time. Then I was in my 20s. At this time, I was 23. And those things, were said to me. So it made a very deep impression in my life. And I told myself that I'm never going to allow myself to be dependent on any human being who calls themselves a man, no matter who. I'm never going to allow this happen to me. Yeah, because he sort of dashed my hopes. So that's in order to resolve that conflict. So my mom knew I was unhappy with some of the things that my dad had said, and she came in and in my room. Then I had gone to my room. I was crying. So she said, "Okay, what do you want to do? If you still want, further your program, I would support. Yeah, but that wouldn't be abroad because I won't be able to foot the bills at this time." So she just said, "If you want to do it anywhere in the country, I would support. I would assist you with the funds that you need." Yeah, long story cut short, um, I went on for my further study. That was the first master's I did. So I went on, and my mom supported with the funds for my tuition and everything until I finished. And yeah, and just about the time I was rounding up with my defense, just before my defense, I got my first job with the bank. So that was how I became fully independent, and I didn't need anybody to do anything for me. And yeah, so that experience more like woke me up to the realities of life, to the realities of being a woman, that if you are such a woman who is depending on a man for anything, you know, you are just at their mercy. And the day you don't know the one you will do, you don't know what action you might take, that might result in you being left out in the cold, because that was what happened in that situation. And another lesson I learned from that thing was this. So, assuming my mom didn't have the finances to support me, yeah, so two of us would have just been there, maybe she would just be, she'll just be looking at me and whatever. So that also taught me another lesson, that as a woman, you really need to be financially empowered. And that is why I sound the way I sound. That is the reason I speak the way I do, because I believe that every woman should have her own strong support. You should be able to support yourself, because you won't be able to tell, how whatever you're doing with a man would end up. Yeah, so that is it. So that experience was what woke me up to how a man could react to you if you have some issues with them or some issues with him. And that was the last time, the experience I had with my dad, that was the last time I had to depend on a man for anything from that point onwards. Yeah, so I want to challenge you, if you're watching me today, because I have met some women who've had issues in their marriages. They tell me, "I have 4 children, I have 5 children, I'm struggling here, I'm struggling there." I don't think it should be that way, okay? My advice to you, if you're a woman watching this video today, is that you already have what it takes to support yourself. You just need to, stretch yourself a little bit further. For people who are already studying, I would advise that you ensure that you try as much as you can to conclude that your education. I'm going to get a guy on my platform to share with us how by himself he was able to pull through his education without the support of anyone in that same Nigeria, because a lot of times people feel that there are certain things they cannot do because they don't have a helper. So I'm going to bring that guy to speak to us how he was able to do these things by himself. Yeah, so but that's not today's discussion. So I just wanted to tell you the story of one of the things, experiences that transformed my life forever. Thank you for watching. I'd like to read from you. Do have a nice evening. Bye bye.